What's up, guys? I got a new reverb in and I want to check it out, see if I'm going to use it on the road. Let's get into it. What's up, my fearless friends? Shayshahn, PhearNone MacPherson, back to you with another Gear and Gadgets, where I like to talk tech, apparel, and gear for musicians, DJs, and artists alike. Today, I have a pedal that I went and picked up from B&H called Evermore, and it's by Universal Audio. I have some other products from Universal Audio, so I was curious about this. I have their microphone. A lot of people have their interfaces and stuff like that, but all I really have is their simulation microphone. The reason why I went to look for a reverb is because I'm about to go on tour with GZA, who is the founding member of the Wu-Tang Clan, and he's bringing a live band to Europe, and I really want my sound to be perfect. So as an electric violinist, once you get your tone down, a real important thing to me is getting a great reverb, whether you're playing acoustic or you're playing electric, but especially on electric, because the electric tends to be very brittle sounding without a little wet reverb or something to help it sound more natural, because usually violins don't have a pickup in it. Usually you're hearing a violin from like the back of a concert hall, you know, like in Carnegie Hall or Lincoln Center. So, you know, you're not meant to hear all the little things that happen on a violin up close. So because we have that, I like to have a little bit of reverb. This Evermore is $200, and it has some simple features. One of my favorite reverbs that I wanted to get was the CMX or CM7 by Chase Bliss Audio. It's a great reverb pedal that came out a little bit after the pandemic, but it costs $900. I have their preamp, which you can see on my board over here. And I have a little space empty where I usually have the reverb that I always use on the GZA gigs. But I just wanted to test this reverb out because I was very curious when it came out. It's emulating the Golden Reverberator, which is another Universal Audio pedal. And both pedals are emulating old reverbs from the 1970s, like a Lexicon, and when they really first started using reverb electronically. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to show you guys is just how these plugs work on this particular pedal. As you can see here, the ins and outs will work with right angled quarter inches. It will fit, and it's a top loaded jack. And let me see, it uses a 9-volt, you know, standard 9-volt that you can use on most pedals, especially like, you know, Boss pedals. A lot of standard pedals have this 9-volt, and it works, as you can see. But what I don't like a little bit is how it does this. But I guess when it's on the pedal board, it's important that you have this at the top. Well, let me see. I guess you could do them sideways like this. And we get this cool red LED that goes through from red to blue to purple, I believe. Or actually, I should say red to green to blue. So these definitely work, these right angle chords, and these are Mogamis. quality chords, but I'm gonna use this chord for the demonstration, just a normal 1/4 inch. And we'll bring that around like that so it'll lay flat. And this is the input. And on the top here, we have bypass, trails, or true bypass. So the trails will let you play, and when you stop playing, or even if you turn off the pedal, it'll continue to trail like reverbs. If you have it on bypass, it'll stop as soon as you stomp on the pedal. And then we have pre-delay, which is very cool on reverbs. I use it all the time, you know, when I'm using Logic or software reverbs. The pre-delay helps you with attack. It controls your attack. So I have the pre-delay on right now. And let's get the violin out and hear how this sounds. Now that we got it plugged in. So right now, I have the mix at 12 o'clock. The treble, mid, and bass are EQ, but it also controls a cool sound of how long each part of the EQ will ring out in the reverb. And this is modulation. And modulation I tend to leave off because we have a hard enough time controlling the intonation of the violin. So I usually don't like to mess with things that mess with the pitch unless it's very specific, because I'm trying to stay in tune on this violin. So we're on the room right now. I'm gonna get the bow out and just let you guys hear how it sounds. So that's how it sounds in the room. And I think it sounds pretty good. Yeah. So when we start messing with the EQ, let's see how this sounds. If I turn the treble and mid all the way down, you're just hearing the bass. Hope you can hear that. It's a very short, quick room because it's emulating a small room, so the slap back is very quick. So now if we turn that bass from 12 o'clock all the way to the right, let's hear what that does. Don't hear much. Let's bring the mid up to 12 o'clock. And then let's bring the mid all the way over to the right and get crazy in the room. So you don't really hear too much of a difference. Let me turn the bass down and have the mid all the way up. I can hear it because the room is a small room. You're not hearing a dramatic effect yet. Let me turn the treble up to 12. Yeah, I hear it a little. I'll go all the way up with the treble in the room. Yeah. And then everybody back to 12. And we're still in the room. hear them all together, and I think that's where you're hearing the most reverb. It's nice though. Let's turn them all up in the room and then we'll move on to the next one. And as you can hear, it'll keep ringing out. I turned off the pedal, and I think it will. Oh, it's still going. Still going. Still going. Still going. Still going. And fading away. So the room just got really elongated and big sounding. When you turn everybody, all the EQ, the treble, mid, and bass all the way up, you're going to get that long trail. And that might be cool to play over, especially on violin and guitar. You can get, some cool soloing over that. So I'm going to put these back to noon. Turn this back on and also let you hear the modulation, which I probably wouldn't mess with too much. Let's put it right there. Coming to 12 o'clock. Three o'clock. Here again, wah wah. Little wonky sounding. Yeah, all the way up. Yeah, that's crazy. So now, I'll move faster through the small hall. Turn that modulation down. That's cool. What happens if we take the mid and treble out in the small hall? We'll put everybody back. And once again, if you turn, we'll turn the bass all the way up and we'll get some. You really hear the bottom end of the sound ringing out. Very dark, grand sound. So now you're getting mostly the low end ringing where the treble and mid stopped. And now it's sounding like a train is passing through. And we can mess with that as we play. So I'll keep playing. Let's turn the mid all the way up. And we can mess with it real time. If I... Yeah, you can catch it. Let's hear the treble all the way up in the small room. Cool. Let's try the treble and bass all the way up, mid at 12. Very cool. And you can control this here. Now it's just low end ringing out. And now let's go to the larger hall. What happens if we turn the mix up to 3 o'clock? Get more of the effect. And I'm sure if we turn this up in the larger hall, you're going to get more of a ring. If we turn up the low end, I'm sure it's going to ring longer. Rumbling. The sound is very good though. I will say there's no crackling. There's no breakup. It sounds very natural and analog. Let me do one more thing. Let me show you what this sounds like in true bypass and with pre-delay off. It turns the LED green. So if we do that same thing where we turn the bass all the way up and have it ring. And it stops right away, as you can see. Turn it back on, it's still ringing. That's crazy. So yeah, that's basically the Evermore and how it sounds on my violin. And I really got some thinking to do. It costs $199, which is a great price. It'll fit right here on my pedal board that I plan on using when I go out to play in 30 cities in Europe. So that's a lot of playing and a lot of traveling. Let me get into some of the pros and cons that I'm seeing just from messing with the board right now, or messing with the pedal right now. The pros are that it's small and simple. Not a lot of knobs to worry about. Just simple EQ. And you can set it and forget it. But you might not be able to forget it because, you know, it's knobs. And knobs sometimes get knocked around unless you have it in like a flight case. But I do like that it's small and compact. and that it'll fit on my pedal board easily, replacing any reverb that I had there before. The sound is great quality. I really like the sound. It's that universal audio sound. And it has a USB-C input on the side, which means you can update, I'm sure, the algorithms and sounds. Another good thing about it is following the algorithms of the golden reverberator, also from Universal Audio. And a lot of people really love that reverb. I wanted to get it. It's just $400, and I didn't want to spend the money on that yet. I spent all my own money on this pedal, and whether I keep it or not, it's my money. I do like that they have an app that I think should work with this still. When you look up the features, they add the app even for the Evermore, even though it's a more simple broke down pedal. The cons on this is, I know this is petty, but the light color of this, even though I have white pedals on my board, I can see them getting messed up. If you look at my Eventide right here, you know, it gets chipped up on the road. The road is brutal to pedals unless you have them in like a flight case all the time. One of the biggest cons that a lot of people are complaining about, and that I can understand, is it not being stereo. Some people think that the price is too high for it to not be stereo. That is an issue because my reverb I'm using now, the Mercury 7, is definitely stereo. My Eventide is stereo, and I can send it through my ACS1 and send it through this DI, the Canvas DI, to be stereo in the house, and that's a nice option to have. So it's not stereo, but it's also not, over $200. One other con, if I'm nitpicking, these jacks, when I had the flathead jacks in the pedal, I feel like it could be a little bit close. Hard to get in here and switch these when they're on the board, if you're trying to switch them in the moment. But I think, you'll know whether you want this on true bypass or trails. Oh yeah, trails turns it purple when you're in no pre-delay. And when you turn on the pre-delay, it turns red. Good to know. Let me let you hear two other reverbs that I have. One is cheaper, which is the Boss Reverb RV6, which is a great reverb, and it has a lot of options. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different reverbs, and it has a tone knob, time, and levels. And this is by Boss. So we'll let you hear the cheaper one first. And what's cool about this Boss already is that it has stereo out if you want that. And it's only $149, so it's about $50 cheaper than the Evermore. I'll put it on a haul since the Evermore has hauls on it. And I'll leave everything at 12 o'clock. Let's see how this sounds, just for reference. Hopefully you guys can hear that. It's a great reverb for the price. Let me turn that up. And what's great about this pedal is you have a lot of different options. Run through some of them. Has plates. Turn it on the plate. But what the Evermore has over it is this EQ and bringing out the low, mid, or high of the trail. I have no real control of that, but I have a lot of options on the RV6. And let me go to the pedal that I have now, or that I've been using on the last couple of Jizza gigs. and my own gigs when I DJ. The Mercury 7. Now the Mercury 7 is by Meris, and Meris is part of the pedal by Chase Bliss, the CM. What is that? The CXM 1978, and of course they're modeling after the Lexicon and Reverbs of the 1970s. And I really like this pedal. It's been working for me. It's a little bit different than the other Reverbs. It has like a Blade Runner sound going on with it. And this has been reviewed a lot of times, but I'll let you just hear how it sounds mono on my violin. But a lot of times I run it stereo if I'm going through the house and not through an amp. Put everybody at 12 o'clock. Turn that modulation down because it'll mess with the intonation. And this has two main halls that you can hear. It has a cathedral and it has ultra plate, is what they call it. But what the Evermore doesn't have is MIDI. This has MIDI, and it can control my preamp MK2 or the Automaton is called, by Chase Bliss. So I could control everything with something like a Morningstar, which I have down here. And the Morningstar can control my Eventide, my Mercury 7, and my preamp with one click. It can change for each song. So let's hear how this sounds. And this has a great sound to it. And you do have some EQing similar to the Evermore. I can bring the high frequencies up. And you hear that ringing out. Then if I turn that down and turn the low up. And turn the mix up. And this has like a decay that you can turn up. Just more options on it. Now we're getting into the same territory that the Evermore does. So I can control both those things, and this pedal costs $100 more than the Evermore. And it has MIDI control, it's stereo, it has the Meris name, which is also great, and you can hold for swells with this pedal. I can let you hear the ultra plate real quick. A little bit different. And messing with this pitch right here, you have modulation, but you can mess with the pitch and bring in another octave with this. You hear that? If I bring it back to the cathedral, you really hear it too. So this is a great pedal as well. So I don't know. They both fit in that space. Really, I still like the Mercury 7 more. I'm going to play with this Evermore a little more and see if there's a big enough difference to switch. But this Mercury 7 is hard to beat. The only thing I really would beat it with is the CXM 1978 by Meris and Chase Bliss. So hopefully this helps people, especially string players that are looking for reverb and pedals. And, I'm on my quest for the best portable, mobile pedal board to bring on the road that won't get totally destroyed and that will be reliable and have me sounding my best on my instrument. Once again, I thank you guys for checking in. This is one of my new videos in 2024. I'm going to be at NAMM later this week, and I'm going to be looking at all the pedals, all the DJ decks, all the MIDI controllers, and all the goodies that are at NAMM in Anaheim, California. If you see me there and you follow the channel, I know I only got about 4,000 people, but if you see me there, say what's up, and we can collaborate. Once again, I'm Shayshahn PhearNone MacPherson. Thanks for stopping by. Peace.